Thanks for starting your week with us. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Lee Ji-yoon in Seoul. We have plenty on our plate today, so let's get started with the day's highlights. Two Korean tech giants are launching new gadgets at this year's Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, including Samsung's Galaxy S7 and LG's G5. Budget phones are selling fast at Korea's post offices thanks to a variety of affordable monthly plans and demand that has surged since the start of this year. But first, chairing a meeting with their senior secretaries, President Park Geun-hye called for preparatory measures against worsening external economic conditions. Citing last month's export figures, which dropped by the fastest pace in 6 years, the president said recent fluctuations in global financial markets, coupled with the North Korea factor, could weigh on the South Korean economy.
지금은 당초 예상했던 것보다 훨씬 대외 경제 여건이 어려워진 상황입니다. 중국 경제 침체가 계속되고 있고 신흥국과 자원 부국들의 경제 불안이 커지고 있으며 세계 증시도 크게 흔들리고 있습니다. 가뜩이나 어려운 상황에 북한 핵실험과 미사일 도발로 고조된 한반도 긴장이 경제에 더 큰 부담으로 작용할 수 있습니다. 이럴 때일수록 우리 경제의 활력 제고와 구조개혁 성과 가시화를 더욱 적극적으로 추진해야 할 것입니다.
President Park emphasized the drive for reforms must be extended to revitalize the economy. Following up on last week's investment promotion meeting, she reiterated that aside from regulations that are absolutely necessary, all should be lifted to ensure they do not hamper new growth engines. Cutting off North Korea's minerals exports to China is considered crucial in severing foreign capital inflows to Pyongyang and enhancing the effectiveness of international sanctions against the regime. This is according to Korea Economic Research Institute, which issued a report indicating that North Korea's exports of mineral resources to China stood at $1.5 billion in 2014, accounting for nearly half of the North's total exports in that year. The report added that the export value of anthracite coal, Pyongyang's main China-bound mineral, reaches nearly $1 billion per year, more than 11-fold the annual wages paid to North Korean workers at Kaesong Industrial Complex. Given the regime's heavy reliance on China, the institute said cooperation from Beijing remains imperative in cutting of funds to the north. There's a dark cloud hanging over Korea's main economic driver, exports, which have been falling for the past 13 months in a row. Fresh data show that the country's already troubled outbound shipments are sliding further, and the forecast for this year remains bleak. Our Park Se-young has more.
Korea's outbound shipments continue to suffer from huge losses. According to Korea Customs Service, exports during the first 3 weeks of February sat at $22.16 billion, down over 17% from the previous year. In January, the nation's exports dropped nearly 19% on year. This margin of decrease is large compared to neighboring nations such as China, which saw an 11.2% slide during the same period, while Japan's outbound shipments fell by 12.8%. Korea's plunging exports are attributed to a sharp decline in shipments to China, low global oil prices, and slow trade worldwide. Downward pressure is expected to continue this year, potentially leading to a second straight year of decline for Asia's fourth largest economy. According to a report released Sunday by the Export-Import Bank of Korea, the country's exports will decrease by roughly 0.5% from last year due to lackluster global demand and greater competition from a weakening Japanese yen and European currencies. Korea's exports amounted to $527 billion last year, a drop of 8% from the year before, but that amount is expected to slide to about $506 billion in 2016.
The downward trend will continue for a while as the global economy is in a slump. With the global economic growth frozen near the 3% rate, trade between countries has also decreased significantly. Furthermore, the oversupply from China and low global oil prices are also likely to exacerbate the situation.
The report adds that under the circumstances, Korea should diversify its trade partners by advancing into budding markets such as India and Iran, which are showing signs of stronger recovery. Park Se-young, Business Daily.
And for more on last week and this week's stock market action, we have our markets reporter Choi Jin-seok from SBS CNBC joining us on the phone today. Hello, Jin-seok.
Thanks for having me, June.
All right, so let's get started by looking at the Korean stock market. Tell us about Friday's close and its overall performance last week.
Yes, the Kospi finished the week with a modest gain to close at 1916. The Kosdaq rose by almost 1% to close at 644. Although foreign investors sold shares in the tech-weighted Kosdaq market, they bought more than 160 billion Korean won or $130 million worth of stocks on the Kospi, boosting the index. On a weekly basis, the Kospi surged by more than 4%, erasing most of its losses from a week ago. Global equity markets rallied throughout the week, helped mostly by stabilized oil prices, better economic data, and mitigated uncertainties surrounding global monetary policies. The U.S. market posted its best weekly gains this year, while European and Japanese stock markets joined the rally with a respective 4% and 8% gain.
All right, then. How did the Korean stock market close on the first day of this week?
Two indices managed to climb higher on the first session of the week. The Kospi continued its upward trend, up by 0.12 points, while the Kosdaq rose by 0.8% to close above 650. Foreign investors were the net buyer of shares in the Kospi market, and the index recovered to positive territory just before the market closed, despite selling pressure by institutional investors. The Kospi has risen by about 80 points from its recent bottom. Therefore, analysts see today's sluggish market move as just profit-taking. In other words, there isn't strong selling pressure in the market, helped by improved investor sentiment throughout global markets.
And investors are expected to keep their eyes on East Asia this week as a G20 finance ministers meeting will take place in Shanghai on Friday and Saturday.
That's right. Finance ministers and central bank governors from the group of 20 major economies are expected to discuss China's excessive capacity, tumbling oil prices, and U.S. monetary policy when they meet in Shanghai this week. IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde said last Friday that G20 officials should be worried of global economic spillovers from their policy decisions as well. Expectations for this week's meeting have been surging given market volatility we've seen this year. For example, the Chinese stock market is still down 20% year to date, while the U.S. equity market has posted a 6% loss as well. Market participants hope that key policymakers participating in the summit will be able to come up with concrete and specific solutions to curb related risks. But some experts warn that since expectations are quite high, there's a greater possibility that markets might be disappointed with the results of the meeting.
And the world's biggest and most influential mobile event, the Mobile World Congress 2016, will kick off pretty soon, and it has been grabbing attention from a lot of tech geeks, right?
Right. MWC 2016 is taking place in Barcelona, Spain from 22nd to 25th local time. The event already kicked off with two flagship smartphone launches from Samsung and LG. This comes as global smartphone sales growth last year slowed to the lowest rate since 2008, according to market research firm Gartner. Even Apple is feeling the pinch with sales of its iPhone dropping year-on-year for the first time in history last quarter. Other than Korean phone makers, Chinese firms such as Huawei and Xiaomi are expected to show their presence in the market. Xiaomi, in particular, that was briefly the world's most valuable startup, will be showcasing its gadgets at MWC for the first time. As well as smartphones, we will see a lot of announcements related to products and services, including virtual reality handsets and content, the Internet of Things sector, and a look forward to 5G network. This has been Choi Jin-seok from SBS CNBC.
Korea's labor productivity in the manufacturing sector dropped in the first 3 quarters of last year. According to Statistics Korea, the labor productivity index for the manufacturing industry stood at 96.7 in the January to September period last year, down 2.7% from the previous year. Labor productivity has been on the decline for 4 straight years since 2012, and the figure for 2015 is feared to have dropped to a 6-year low. Now, experts say the country's key industry is losing steam due to slowing exports, and in response, the Seoul government has announced a set of plans to boost exports and the local economy. Korean chip makers logged a record share of the global mobile DRAM market in the 4th quarter of last year. According to industry tracker DRAM Exchange, their combined market share was slightly over 84% during the October to December period. Samsung Electronics made up 58.2% of the market, followed by SK Hynix with just over 26%. US-based Micron Technology came in third with 14.3%. Now, this is the 3rd consecutive quarter that Korean companies set a new record for combined market share. And the industry tracker said the top 3 suppliers' revenue figures are closely tied to orders from US giant Apple. The Mobile World Congress 2016 in Barcelona is where the world's latest smartphones, as well as future technologies and gadgets, are expected to be unveiled. And there, Korea's Samsung and LG revealed their new smartphone models with hopes of walking away with the hype crown this year. Our Kim Ji-yeon takes us to Barcelona.
Korea's leading smartphone maker Samsung Electronics and its local rival LG Electronics released their new flagship smartphones in Barcelona, Spain, which is hosting one of the biggest tech events, the Mobile World Congress, this week. Samsung's Galaxy S7 has a 5.1-inch screen with a curved glass back. The S7 Edge is curved at the left and right-hand edges, and the curved designs are what the company says makes them more comfortable to use with one hand.
Now, we usually use our phones with only one hand, but that can be challenging with a larger screen. So we rethought the design of the Edge to make it easier to use when you only have one thumb to spare. Just slide your thumb across the edge, and the Edge panel glides onto the display. The wider panel allows for richer content, and it's easier to read.
Samsung Electronics also brought back some of the popular designs and features of its previous S6 model. They include a micro SD card slot, which enables users to expand storage without compromising the slim exterior. The phone can also stay submerged for 30 minutes in water, 1.5 meters deep, and still work just fine. While Samsung is improving its gadgets by mixing traditional and modern features, LG's new G5 smartphone brings in a whole new user paradigm. When the battery tray is removed, the slot can accept a variety of modules, including ones that provide enhanced camera controls, boost sound quality, and control drones.
The LG G5 is not the only device we'd like to introduce today. It comes with friends, extensive companion devices that enhance the user experience in dynamic ways. We'll introduce more friends, creating a new paradigm in smartphone ecosystems called LG Playground.
LG Electronics will start selling their new gadgets sometime next month. Samsung Electronics will begin global sales of the Galaxy S7 on March 11th. Kim Ji-yeon, Business Daily, Barcelona.
How about heading over to the post office the next time you want to buy a budget phone? It's one of the low-cost mobile service providers that's been seeing explosive growth in sales along with the overall market. Our Lee Ju-young reports.
At this post office in downtown Seoul, customers are lined up to get their hands on the so-called budget phones, which come with more affordable monthly plans and have been selling at breakneck speed since the start of this year. So high was the demand that post offices even had to suspend sales for a few days.
I had a phone plan that cost over $30, but I heard budget phones are cheap, so I came to see for myself, and they really are.
So exactly how cheap are they? According to Korea Post, one phone plan comes with a 200-minute voice plan plus texting and data functions for just $5 a month. Another phone plan even offers 50 minutes of free calls per month with no base fee. These affordable options are, on average, said to be 50% cheaper than those provided by Korea's 3 major carriers. On the back of these options, the post office has seen a surge of over 100,000 new subscribers in January, up tenfold from a month ago. Although budget phones offered by mobile virtual network operators that buy or rent out networks from existing phone carriers have been in business for some years, the market has recently seen a large influx of new subscribers. Market watchers say the upsurge was helped by the Ministry of Science, ICT, and Future Planning when it turned down an application to create a 4th mobile carrier last month. With anticipation of a new competitor rolling out cheaper plans dispelled, existing budget phone operators have reaped the benefits. Korea Post nabbed an impressive year's worth of new subscribers just in the month of January, and this has helped push the number of budget phone subscribers in the country over the 6 million mark as of this month. Lee Ju-young, Business Daily.
And that wraps it up for today. But we'll be back tomorrow with more at the same time, same place for your Business Daily. So don't forget to tune in then. Thanks for watching and goodbye.